Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurin Ainul Hayat binti M. Nazri. Matrix number 2022997185. So now, I will deliver a persuasive speech entitled "The use of mobile phone while driving is dangerous." Why is it bad to use mobile phones while we are driving? Among the reasons why we are prohibited from driving while using mobile phone because most drivers are still in the phase of learning to know the road. The majority of drivers who play cell phones while driving have caused many road accidents. We already know that using a cell phone while driving is dangerous. But are we still do that thing, even though you already know the consequences of doing so? Because of such an act will cause an accident and due to the negligence of the driver himself. So that is the topic that will be discussed, which is the dangers of using mobile phones while driving a vehicle. Although using a cell phone while driving is very risky, I must admit that I have done it before. I have noticed that I answer call and text while driving. That is the popular thing that happens among drivers. The slide out keyboard on the phone I now on makes texting more challenging. I bought the phone to attempt to make it harder to text while driving, but I still managed to do it. This is why the public has to be made aware of the risks associated with using a cell phone while driving. We need to comprehend the nature of the issue at hand in order to fully comprehend it. We will examine how this behavior limits a driver's ability to concentrate and puts other people in danger. Finally, we will look at some potential solutions that try to change the carefree way of life we lead. So, for the first point, driving while playing mobile phone can invite danger to yourself and those around you. Multitask at one time. For example, like, why do I say this multitask is not necessary and if possible should be avoided? This is because when driving, the eyes, hands and ears should focus on one situation, that is when we drive. However, if the use of mobile phones is done while driving will cause our focus on driving will shift to mobile phones. Driving tasks mainly include controlling the stability of vehicles and monitoring the driving environment, which are directly related to driver's manual operation and visual attention. Try to imagine, can we as a human being drive while our hands, eyes and ears focus on many things at a time? Of course not. If this happens, it causes us to be careless and not vigilant because unfortunately it can be happen in the blink of an eye. For the second point, not considerate of other drivers. According to the Federal Communication Commission's website, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported that in 2014, 18% of injury crashes and 16% of all police-reported motor vehicle traffic crashes were reported as distracted driving. In 2014, there were 3,179 people killed and an estimated additional 431,000 people wounded in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. At any given daylight moment across America, approximately 660,000 drivers are using a mobile phone while driving. Lack of attention while driving, which is capable of resulting in accidents either on oneself or others. Statistics in Malaysia about using phone while driving shown that over 43% of Malaysian drivers use their cell phones while operating a vehicle, according to the frightening statistic released by the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research (MIROS), and extrapolating from that represents an alarmingly high percentage of Malaysian drivers who endanger both themselves and other people. That represents an alarmingly high percentage of Malaysian drivers who endanger both themselves and other people. Statistics reveal even more ominous facts, such as the rise in phone usage at traffic signals on 61.9% at the percentage of drivers, and the percentage of drivers who use their phones while stuck in traffic to 56.3%. Unbelievably, roughly 61.1% of drivers admitted to playing video games while they were behind the wheel. This was the conclusion of a research that MIROS had. This was the conclusion of a research that MIROS had 627 people in the Klang Valley complete in 2015. It's possible that the issue of distracted driving is more of a human one than a Malaysian one. So, what's the solution for this problem? If drivers have a high level of awareness, many changes can be made to avoid the culture of driving while playing cell phones. Before embarking on a trip, make sure the mobile phone is turned off or in a silent mode to avoid interfering with driving. But if something is an emergency and requires the drivers to use a cell phone, take action by stopping the car on the shoulder of the road and deal with the cell phone. Use the built-in devices in the car. The passage of increasingly modern times has resulted in advanced device technology, which allows us to use it as a substitute for the use of cell phones while driving. There are many advanced device technologies built into your vehicle that can be used to connect with people who are categorized as wireless devices. Things like this seem small, but to some extent can help us from using cell phones directly while driving. Now, we will see what if the effect while driving is preferred by not using a cell phone. It can reduce the use of mobile phones while driving. The risk of accidents and driver negligence while playing mobile phones can be avoided. Although the misfortune doesn't expect, sometimes there are accidents due to the negligence of the driver, but it can be avoided and can lower the statistic of many accidents caused by the use of mobile phones. In fact, it is able to guarantee higher security when there is awareness and changes are made. In conclusion, the use of mobile phones while driving is very dangerous and can take the life of anyone. Due to that, there is a need for us to change the style of using mobile phones in vehicles, like what has been said earlier. Encourage family members, friends, and anyone not to use a cell phone while driving. It is impossible if this situation can be avoided if you are always alert to the dangers of using mobile phones while driving. That's all from my persuasive speech.